Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
Well, your day's getting ready to get a lot better if you're going to listen to this story. This young woman is absolutely amazing. From Fordham University, Emma Wilson-Saltos. Emma, it's so great to be with you. You have such an incredible story and a journey around the game, how the game has benefited from you and how you have benefited from the game. Let's start with just how's it going? Like, how are you? So great to see you.
I'm so happy to be here. Extremely blessed. I'm so happy to be meeting you guys and opening up about my story in basketball and life and what I've learned and what I continue to do. So I'm super excited.
I mean, you have played at the highest level. You're a junior college All American. You're currently playing on Fordham's team. You've had an interesting path. Why don't you start with the beginning for us, where you were introduced to the game and how you fell in love with it?
Oh man, such an interesting story. I'd love to share. So basically, just a little backstory of myself. I was in the system of foster care for quite some time since I was a young baby, a few months old only. I eventually got adopted when I was 7 years old. And once I got adopted, my mom, she was just the best, my biggest supporter in everything. And interestingly, I didn't wanna play basketball when I first started. My mom, she just put me in there because she wanted me to be physically active and doing stuff outside of school. So that's when my journey began, and it was a rough one, I can't lie. I started off just, being a rebounder. Honestly, I didn't really know much about the game. I had to learn a lot. A lot of people were better than me. So when I got on the court, my job was solely to get the rebound, outlet to my point guard, get us started.
It's
So
important. It's an important role.
it is important. So eventually I'm just like, you know what? I want to take this seriously. So as any other young basketball player, I started playing in the AU program, Hoopers, New York. Started there with Brian Williams. Shout out to Brian. He really did start my journey. And yeah, like every summer I was just getting better and better. I failed numerous times in order to get better. People were more skilled than me. People were, more stronger than me, but all I did was learn and continue to strive. And I feel like it took me so many places. Started off my career at Manhattan College, and then I eventually went on to JUCO. When I was at my time at Manhattan College, this was during the COVID time, and
Mhm.
the vaccine was out. And me being from New York, we were very like strict on the vaccine. Like we needed the vaccine to do anything, including sports and school. So since it was like very, very early in the timing, I was a little bit more frazzled about the decision. So I did take some time away for not taking the vaccination. That was a big decision for me and my family.
Mhm.
And then after everything came down and everything was calm and we came with a solution for it, I wanted to go back because I didn't feel the same. Like felt like something was missing in my life. A majority of my life I've been just playing basketball. So you know what? I got back up and I was like, you know what? I want to try this again. But this time I started in JUCO. So I started at Monroe College in New Rochelle in New York, and I just dominated in what I could do. I was a great rebounder. I was averaging a double double. My first year wasn't the greatest, but I just kept trying and learning, and there was a lot of changes going on. So I just had to learn to adapt and adjust to things and just keep positivity. And it brought me so far. And here I am today, Fordham University, you know. And it's such a great story. Every time I think about it or speak about it, I just remind myself like look how far I've come
Yes.
and look at my future. Like I have so much more to show and go and do, and it's very exciting for me.
I want to point back to a couple of things you said. Number one, you did average a double double, and you were a junior college All American. So you did your role and you played at a very high level, which afforded you the opportunity to be at Fordham. But I want to go back and have you take a little bit of a deeper dive into failing and picking yourself back up. Basketball is an imperfect game. It's about minimizing your mistakes, and everybody has adversity, and everyone has to learn how to deal with challenges or obstacles, and you've had multiple in your life. Where do you think your resolve comes from?
I would say, as far as like, my backstory as to like not really like being into a full family until I was about 7 years old. I did face a lot of adversity through those years. So I feel like that kind of built character in me in a way. So where when it did come to basketball, I was kind of faced with the similar challenges and adversity, rising to challenges and just stepping up. Like I feel like it really helped me like see like, sometimes there's a bigger picture. You're going through something right now, but just know if you keep pushing and try to be consistent as you can, then none of that matters as long as you keep rising up. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good resolve for me when it comes to anything, not just basketball, but life.
I gotta believe that your mom is an exceptional woman, that she is somebody that is not afraid to go against the grain, that she's somebody that has some toughness about her, that is going to fight for making sure that you had what you needed resource wise and other ways, putting you in basketball, throwing you in the middle of something, right in the middle of the Bronx, just
Yeah.
putting you on a team and making you figure it out. That had to have been some tough love along the way. Tell me a little bit about your mom and your relationship there.
She is my biggest supporter. Like, she's always showed up. She comes to the games whenever, like that's another reason why I've always stood local because she's always shown up for me and I want to show up for her and I know how much excitement she gets from watching me play in person.
Yeah.
So, it really doesn't matter where I'm at. I just want to make her proud and honestly, she's done a lot for me. She's such an angel.
What have you learned from her that makes you a really good basketball player?
Oh man, one thing she always tells me is just show how strong you are. Like, should be physical. Like, she never wants me to be outworked, like ever.
Yeah.
Even in the house, she she wants me to do my responsibilities. So she just wants me to show up, have fun, and be strong. Be a team player, and that's one thing I strive in.
You can always tell kids that came from a disciplined expectation background with their families, right? If you have families that have some tough disciplinary rules or standards, maybe is a better word. And then you watch them play out as adults, and you see, as a mom of three kids myself, I see some validation there when I look at what my kids have decided to do or how they go about conducting their business. I know your mom has got to be really proud of you.
Yeah.
What is she like in the stands? Is she yelling at you? Is she yelling at the coaches? Yelling at the refs? Is she yelling at the band?
Oh
Some
my
moms
goodness.
yell at the band.
She's one voice, one distinct voice that you'll always recognize. Her favorite thing to say is, "Emma, go shoot it, dude, box out, rebound." Like she'll say
Yeah,
a bunch of different things, but you'll hear her voice in the stands. She's very supportive. She's not one of the angry ones. It's like, come on, like she's always showing me positivity, and I feed
yeah,
off of that. So
that's
very
good.
grateful for her.
Yeah, the A10 this year is tough, and there's some good teams, and there's
Yeah,
a big group of teams right in the middle. And
yeah.
so when you have a large amount of teams in the middle, that means anything can happen when you get to the postseason to the A10 tournament. What are you
Mhm.
most looking forward to?
Honestly, we're just looking forward to getting 2% better each game we play. Honestly, we have our next game against LaSalle. We've been in a bit of a slump, so we're excited to like make our comeback, make a statement that we belong here and we need to be more consistent. And so we have a responsibility to take care of, and that's what we're just heading towards each and every game.
I can see responsibility in your name next to it when I think about what your journey's been like and who you are today. When it comes to responsibility, today's landscape has changed so much in college sports. There's lots of things out there that people like to talk about, from the transfer portal to name, image, and likeness to collectives to salary cap, free agency. Um, there's all kinds of
You
terms
named it.
that are being
Yeah.
right. When when I'm listening to you and your story, I'm thinking that a lot of what you have done in your career is to serve somebody else. I feel like you have this incredible servant heart about you because you care about your mom and you wanted her to see you play, care about
Mhm.
the people in your circle, and you want to make sure that they're taken care of. Tell me where that comes from.
I feel like a lot of it roots back to my mom because she's been through so much and she's shown up so many times. Like I've never really seen her down about things no matter what she's been through. Like she doesn't really show it, which is very strong of her, like honestly. Um Most of my family is adopted. So she's been through the process of a lot of things. So honestly, I just feel like she continues to be strong, and that's something I look up to. I don't have a father in my household. I have a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters, and we stick together. So I feel like, you know, it roots back to my household and my family. And family to me means everything. We could be friends, and I'll consider you family just off of that because of like what I see in you, what we show each other, and how we show up for each other. So
That's the way I see it too. That's the way
yeah,
I do things in my life as well. I
yeah.
want to have you explain this a little bit more to me about your role, because most people want the bright lights of, scoring all the points, and you,
Mhm.
again, serving the game, making the game easier for your teammates by rebounding, which means you got to go to the glass every time. And the way you rebound, it really requires two people to keep you off the glass. So you're really making it easier for somebody else to get some rebounds or to get out in transition.
Mhm.
What keeps you motivated to know that even if it's not on the stat sheets, it shows up in the way your teammates see how hard you play?
Yeah. I feel like what keeps me motivated is just knowing that I'm able to influence the game in other ways rather than just scoring the ball. And it's shown a lot. It's shown in my past in JUCO, and it works for me. As far as my responsibility, it's setting great screens for my guards,
Mhm.
being a defensive presence, rolling hard, occupying defenders, rebounding, of course, and I'm just gonna keep being consistent at that because I know that's what we need on a consistent rate, and I'm the one for that. So I'm gonna show up as much as I can for that.
I'm thinking you and I are going to be fast friends because of the way you see the game, because that's the way I see it too.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people use their time in basketball just to be a better basketball player. I'm guessing that you used your time in basketball to be able to be more well rounded and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
When your playing days are over and you look back at what you've been able to accomplish as an athlete, what part of the student part of that, the student athlete part of you, is going to really resonate when you move on to another career?
Oh man, I love school. I love school. I'm such a great student. And my grades show that, and I can really brag about it because it's always been like that. My mom has pushed me for that. So, she's always taught me, is student then athlete. So as far as that, I study business. I'm into content creating. Like I create my own content. I have a YouTube channel, at Immaculate with the E and then three E's at the end. So
Spell it
I
out
make a
for
lot
us
of
so we can make sure nobody misses a chance to check it out. Spell it out.
it's EMMACULATEEE on YouTube. And I
Okay.
just do a lot of like day I started off on TikTok days in the life and it blew up and I just wanted to prolong it and give a deeper perspective of like, what it is to be a student athlete at a D1 program and travel days, what it's like to take losses, what it's like to win, what it's like to be in slumps, I want to be raw and expose all of that. So, that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm always about business. I love math. So, I want to have my own clothing brand someday. Um and yeah, like I'm always dibbling and dabbling in different things. I also cut hair on the side. Like I've been doing that since COVID. So, it's a bunch of different things outside of basketball that I dabble in.
I love it. A lot of skill with a lot of energy and incredible emotion. I
Yeah,
know basketball is grateful for you because we don't always get to talk to student athletes that have the kind of perspective that you do and
yeah,
have the journey that you've been able to go through. And your openness to share it is definitely going to help
yeah,
somebody else, Emma. So thank you so
absolutely.
much for
That's why
taking
I
time
do
with
it.
us on
Thank
Nothing But
you.
Net. It's a blessing to see you and meet you and spend some time with you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
good luck down the road as Fordham, one of the teams in the middle of the pack in the A10 in a league that's going to get multiple bids this year in the NCAA tournament. Emma Wilson-Saltos, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Go Rams.